Hello, 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 and welcome in to Bear With Us on the Bear Claw Media podcast feed. And Ben, before I ask you how you're doing, buddy, we have a little business to do, a new friend to join in the program. We are presented today by Crave Hot Dogs and Barbecue in Greeley, Colorado, where they offer all their specialty all beef hot dogs, savory barbecue and sides, plus a self-pour beer wall. A perfect setting for family outings or a night out with friends. Stop by and hashtag Beat the Craving today. That is at 2170 35th Ave, Unit B in Greeley, Colorado. Great couple guys run that place, Heath and Todd. Go give them some business. Go check them out. Awesome food. But we are back as always with linebackers today, Ben. How do linebackers make you feel? Are you feeling nicey this morning?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys here, and there's a lot to talk about, and I'm not sure how coaches are going to use it. I don't know how many of these guys are going to see like consistent field time because linebackers last year was a little gruff. But besides that, very excited about Crave. We can finally say our hobby is in the green. We're not like we're not doing this for kicks and giggles anymore. Todd and Heath, thanks for giving us a chance to be a sponsored show and finally paying some bills around here. So we can say the podcast is a professional hobby at this point.
Yeah, well, it does feel good to kind of be with the big boys now. We feels like we have a sense of legitimacy here.
Right.
But
And we didn't just go searching for anybody. We legit definitely enjoy this place. We've had a couple meals there. Both times has been really good. Also, one of the things they don't list is they smoke whiskey with like this cool convection cup type deal where they actually burn wood into it. Chris can vouch for it because he tried it as well. It is pretty sensational. It's amazing how much they get in there, and it tastes like campfire, but not in a bad way.
yeah, very locally driven too. For technically a chain, they do a lot with other Greeley businesses in town. I believe that's we'll give a couple free shout outs. That one's 477 Distilling. I believe they have the whiskey kind of partnership with. And then I don't even think we've mentioned they have like 14 self-serve beer taps. So and one of those is a special like collaboration with Crabtree Brewing that's like you can only get there. Kind of a fruited wheat, like verging towards IPA, but not quite. But oh, if you can hear my 9:30 a.m. alarm go off and really kind of kill all the buzz we got going on there. But yeah, big shout out to Crave Hot Dogs Barbecue in Greeley. Super grateful to have them on board. But let's get into the nitty gritty, Ben. First off, buddy, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. So excited to talk about these guys. Like I said, our defense was getting torched last year, so who knows if they even had a plan some weeks. But, of course, we would go off of the team statistics on the team website, but that's having a little issues. We'll pass that along to management. But you can still find
That's
their
you now,
stats on the
buddy.
NCAA website, thanks to Chris. And leading the pack last year was Keenan Guthrie with 60 tackles. And then we had some guys graduate and whatnot, but still have some other returning studs like KJ Smedley. He had 46 last year. Zach Nowatzki had 37. Sion Tuha had 30. So we definitely have some guys who can fly around and hit, but I'm not sure that a lot of the time it looked like coach was running a multiple defense, and the times that the linebackers actually got to play like linebackers was in a 4-2-5. And really, like I said, I think this has been a problem position because players haven't gotten to play that they want to play. But sometimes you just got to be a team player and do whatever supports the scheme. So I'm not sure how much of an impact the defense is going to be allowed to let the linebackers have, because D-line is going to be potentially scary with no returning starters. Corners and safeties, we have one all-conference guy and a lot of question marks, even though there's some pretty sweet young talent coming up the ranks that might get some starting reps. But really, I think your key linebackers that you're going to be looking at are going to be the returners from last year. Keenan Guthrie and KJ Smedley are most likely going to lead the pack. Then Sio and Tua and Zach Nowatzki, I think those guys are pretty solid as well. We'll just run down the list just to give you an inventory of who's there. But KJ Smedley is a sophomore, 6'3", 220, out of Colorado Springs, Palmer Ridge High School. Jace Villers, sophomore, 6'3", 225, from a Washington high school. Sion Tua, redshirt senior, 6'2", 220, out of Provo, Utah. Didn't choose BYU, and he went to Utah. So we get him from there as of last year. Keenan Guthrie, redshirt senior, 6'2", 240, originally from San Diego. Carson Keach, sophomore, 6'2", 216, from Ponderosa High School in Parker, Colorado. Blake Palladino, sophomore, 6'3", 225, out of Littleton from Dakota Ridge High School. Adai Davis, redshirt junior, 6'1", 230, from Cherokee Trail High School in Aurora. Zach Nowatzki, redshirt senior, 6'2", 230, from St. George, Utah, but went to West Texas A&M. And we've got three more. Kai Shelton, 6'2", 210, freshman out of Regis Jesuit High School in Aurora, Colorado. Colby Olson, freshman, 6 foot, 206, from Cheyenne East. And Hudson Vogeser, junior, 6'3", 220, out of Fort Collins, Colorado, but went to Loveland High School.
Yeah, and this, I think you said it well a little bit ago. A lot of unknowns on the defense in the front line and then kind of the back end. And those guys have a chance to prove themselves, but the linebacker core is fairly proven. Not saying that it's like a standout group or that they're going to even necessarily be a strength, but this room has a lot of continuity. I think you kind of nailed it. Smedley and Guthrie, kind of two at the top. Tuha got a lot of run last year as well. Even Blake Palladino started. He played a lot last year. Nowatzki and Vogeser, all names that are like very familiar, very very experienced. Even some of the young guys played in a lot of games over the past 2 years, probably because they're with transfers out, and a lot of the position was really just fairly depleted and has only kind of gotten more that way when it comes to guys that were here before Lamb got here. So this one feels like a very, very Ed Lamb linebacker room. Not that they're all his guys, but a good chunk of them are. And they have years in this scheme, at least like one full year for most of them, a couple for a good chunk of those guys. And it's just kind of the exact opposite of the rest of the defense, where it's a lot of names we recognize, and it's just kind of seeing what they can do this year more so than we're like, I don't know, this guy came in from a JUCO and we have no idea what to expect,
Right. And I think that's the thing, is that there's a lot of talent here and we want to see it shown. There was about 6 linebackers that got meaningful stats, as much as you can say for a 1-11 team. But really, I think there is a lot of talent here. And Smedley, I think it was a big compliment to him last year, being a redshirt freshman, potentially, eligibility. Rules are made up, points don't matter. But him being a young guy, getting that much playing time, that much responsibility, I think that's a great compliment to him, especially being a Lamb guy, being a Colorado guy. I think that's a good nod towards the whole, like, stay local, play local, all that horseshit we hear from coach, actually might pay off. And some of those developmental players, like, we're not talking about corners, but Chappa is a local guy who, showed out and became an all-conference guy. So looking at a lot of these guys, there is a lot of talent. I'm just not sure how many are going to make the field. I'd say, even though we used 6 last year, I think really if we want to be competitive in the Big Sky, we need to be using somewhere around 8. And I know that sounds like a horrible number to some coaches. They're going to be like, this guy doesn't know ball. Listen, our defensive line is going to need every help they can get. I think some of these guys, even though they're undersized, Like, even if Guthrie is just coming up to the edge just to be a support guy, so there's nobody that gets boxed out by the tackles. Like, I think you're going to need to just offer support wherever possible. And a lot of these guys are pretty damn athletic. Like, these guys all have kind of like a heavier build for like a safety. So I think a lot of these guys could drop into coverage and support the safeties and corner team if needed. It just all depends on how Hadley wants to run the defense. But I think it's a really versatile crew. Most of them are averaging 6'2" to 6'3", around 220 pounds. There's some guys heavier or lighter, but I think this is a pretty versatile crew that's also athletic.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, because also I could see it almost flipping the other way too, where maybe a couple of these guys end up stepping up, like you said, on the line. Maybe not, but just it's a little bit iffy with Ezra Ekuban's been nursing something all since spring, some sort of injury. And Makur Abram didn't play in the scrimmage yesterday. I guess Inside Baseball. Where's my clock and date on this computer? It's about 9:40 on Sunday, August 10th. So kind of not rounding into fall camp, about to wrap up fall camp, honestly, before kind of getting into in-season practice. But there's a lot of flexibility, yeah, and I think there's a lot of guys who can really have a chance to break out this year, and whether it be like in the role that they're currently slated in, or if it's kind of in a hodgepodge role where shit's going to hit the fan one way or another, and people are going to be hurt, people are going to be kind of dealing with different stuff throughout the season. So even some of the young guys, I think Jace Villers, he's another redshirt sophomore. Looks like he was in that first Lamb class. Year 3, I'm clinging to year 3 because I have to, more than anything, because what else is there out there to kind of get us excited about this season? So there are a lot of Carson Keach is another name that he got a little bit of run last year, but maybe not in such a full role. 3 games, 3 tackles. He was one of those end of the year guys who started getting a little bit of run once things kind of really were over, for lack of a better phrasing. But I wouldn't be surprised if even one of those 2 guys kind of step up and we're talking about them in kind of that Guthrie role for next year. But Sione Tuha is somebody who I feel like doesn't get a lot of love in this group, and he just seems kind of like a model of consistency. He was just game in, game out kind of grinding. A name that really we ended up calling a lot for radio and just talking about at the end of last year. Just kind of a gamer. So I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of stayed in that role. I almost don't want to say he's going to take a leap, but I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the year we're like, oh, Tuha had like better stats than we were expecting, just because kind of game in, game out, he was just consistent with it. You might want to unmute yourself, buddy.
Oh, rookie move. Dang it. First time of the season, last time of the season.
Lucky for you, it's still off season, so we're rounding into shape too.
Hey, I mean, like, first time all off season, I'll take it. But I think Tuha should get some more reps, even if it's just from the fact of him being a redshirt senior. I think that's going to play into it a lot. I mean, Guthrie and Tuha, again, maybe they do have another year of eligibility, but we're playing on the assumption that that's all used up since it's redshirt senior. Also, Nowatzki is as well, so this might be a lean on the experience type of roster right here. I mean, Smedley, he's still a young boy at redshirt sophomore, so he has time to continue to develop in the program. Really, somebody I'm kind of interested in, because I don't know a lot about him, is Adai Davis from Cherokee Trail. I just don't know a lot about that one. Love to see what he can do. Also, Blake Palladino. He did get in a little bit last year on the field. Of course, I lost my spot on there for him, but he got in a little bit on there, and in high school, he was just a thumper. Like, you look at the stuff for him, and he's just out there just destroying guys, but can also like be a useful weapon in the pass coverage. So pretty interested to see what he does with it and whatnot. I think there's going to be at least 2 or 3 young guys that need to step up even if it's just for the sake of having somebody step up so that we have the seniors getting a breath or whatnot, because I think we're going to need those three redshirt seniors on the field pretty consistently. And then Smedley, obviously, he's a little bit of a utility tool player, but we're going to need him just as much.
Yeah, and just for the assist, Palladino played 7 games, 10 tackles last year, so wasn't able to save the red shirt, but got some valuable experience. Really kind of came on again. A lot of these guys I say came on towards the end of the year. I think it was really kind of by the end of the year they were kind of playing around with lineups a little more. So got a lot of the young guys got more run towards the end of the season, and I'm sure that's not just unique to UNC. But yeah, I think we've exhausted just about everything in that linebacker room, Ben. Is there anything else linebacker wise?
Yeah, it's like there's so much meat on the bone there, just like there is at Crave Barbecue and Hot
Oh ho ho
Dogs.
ho!
Working in that second ad read. But yeah, join those guys down there at 2170 35th Avenue, Unit B in Greeley, Colorado. They have great theme nights too. Like I think there's 2 different poker nights and then a karaoke night as well. So, go in, check out the specials that they have, the theme nights that they have on their chalkboard out front. I mean, you can see, goofy stuff like Todd and Heath out there doing silly dances at karaoke, or Heath just being a great guy wearing a just absolute winner of a hot dog headpiece while he's serving food. So these guys are good guys, great food. And then, like Chris said, if you like Dave and Buster's, you like beer, you're going to love the beer wall. Just kind of tap your card and pour as many ounces as you want. However much fits in the glass, of course. Don't make a mess.
We'll have to talk to him about getting some of the 32-ounce glasses,
Right? Got to get those Thor mugs out there. That got to make every ounce count. But yeah, we've had good meals there. Last time I was in, I enjoyed the sliders trio. Little sampling of 3 of their different meats with a side, of course. But yeah, go ahead and check those guys down out at Crave. And I hope that the linebackers are craving to get some sacks this year, because I think sacks and turnovers is something that we are going to really rely on them getting, because I'm not sure how much expectations or how much responsibility we can put on the D-line.
Yeah, and I agree. I think the D-line is just such a question mark that hopefully there's some consistency out of the linebackers that can maybe weather some ups and downs early in the season, and hopefully it kind of shuffles into place as things go on. But as always, if you like what we're doing, please like, comment, subscribe, review. Tell your mom to like, comment, subscribe, review, all that good stuff. All hail the mighty algorithm. And always, if you don't like what we're doing, Ben's inbox is always open. He's here. He's ready for a fight. So bring it to at Bear Claw Media. And have a good one.